Why is it after decades these tax laws are on the books that people are turning around and actually looking up the law to find out that wages can't be legally taxed? Well, it started out voluntary, but now it's coercive. They're going to threaten you with all kinds of things if you don't pay it. Well, let me give you a point here that you didn't think about. The IRS creates tax code to force you to use the banks to create fake money that they loan you. Understand this. Your car title is in your name, not your name in the banks. They have a lien on it, but they still have to prove the lien is legitimate because you already own the car. Same with your deed on your house and every other thing. Now, of course, obviously, if you don't have to pay and your house is already in your name, you can protect it legally, and if a business is paid in cash like they should, we wouldn't have a situation where the government could dip their fingers in and take something and then make you go to court to prove it. Understand one thing. They don't want to put you in prison because let's say you're making $100,000 a year, paying $30,000 in income taxes plus all the other bullshit taxes that raise it to 50%, and then we turn around and we put that person in jail, which costs the government $50,000 to $70,000 a year, plus the $30,000 a year they're losing, plus the money that their family takes from the government for support because you're in prison. They only want to put enough people in prison to scare you so you'll pay these illegal taxes that are coercive. But people are now at the financial position where they've raised the taxes beyond reasonable to punitive and abusive while simultaneously crashing the economy. So any logical person has realized I cannot continue to pay these illegal taxes and keep a roof over my family's head and feed them. So that's why the movement. But the fact of the matter is, you have to understand that the government has created a system and they've created this monster they have to continue to feed. Now, we take our tax dollars, deduct what they put directly in their pockets or give to some corporate entity so they can screw the workers and give them campaign donations back to keep those pricks in office. Understand one thing. When the tide turns, and the government is not going to fix the problem because they are the problem. So let me explain the fraud. You see, the IRS creates the tax code to force you to use the bank. Because you can tax a business, especially a corporation, because you've given them a special status that has benefits so you can require something in return. Proprietorships are a little different depending on how they're set up. But look at it this way. Let's say that business owner has a good year. He's got an extra $100,000 in profit, but there's a piece of equipment for $100,000 that he can buy and make another $100,000 profit next year, but he can't buy it. You see, he has the $100,000, but the tax code requires him to depreciate that equipment over a 10-year period, let's say. So he can't pay the $100,000 for the equipment, plus pay the taxes on it and still buy the equipment. So he has to borrow the money from the bank, and that's the whole purpose. Our founding fathers for years warned about having a central bank that was not controlled by the government. You see, the Federal Reserve is a private bank that's not controlled by the government that was fraudulently put in place when a couple senators stayed late on a stormy night after everybody thought they were out of session and snuck that bill through. And we see the result of it. Here's the thing what nobody's really looking at. The founders of the banks had a certain amount of money they put in, and they owned controlling shares. Once again, private. So the fact is, let's make it as simple as we humanly can here for everybody to understand how you've been ripped off and had fraud committed against you. Let's say these people, there was 10 investors, they each put in 10 pennies for 100 pennies, and they each got shares representing that. Now, they want to loan those pennies out, say to 10 businessmen at 10% interest, so each businessman pays back 11 pennies for a total of 110 pennies. But there was only 100 pennies in existence to begin with. You see, the fact of the matter is, no matter how many dead presidents they print that they say represents this money, it's just an entry on a computer. When you took that mortgage out, did they hand you gold, silver, or something of fixed value? No, they basically just transferred a credit or debit among the books. The money never existed. Now, you cannot require somebody to pay you back when you didn't give anything to them. First of all, it's fraud. You can't enforce a contract through fraud. And obviously, that's what they've done. They've committed fraud. And people are going to court and proving that these liens on their houses are not enforceable. You see, what you got to remember is that house is in your name, not you in the bank. That car title's in your name, not yours in the bank. If everybody got paid in cash so the government couldn't make your employer take your money from your paycheck when they say you don't pay, if you were able to protect everything you own, the government would have no teeth no matter what law they want to pass. So the fact of the matter is, but these abusive taxes and this crashing of the economy have forced people to look at things. And patriots are getting together because they are the ones who are saying this is unjust. This is not only unjust, but it's illegal. And the fact of the matter is they committed fraud by claiming they gave you something in value so you could buy your house when it was all a Ponzi scheme. The money never existed. It cannot be enforced. And there's no consideration there, remember? When two people sign a contract, one person gives consideration. Here's $1. They never gave you anything. They just transferred credits claiming that money was backing it when it wasn't. So let's say you've had enough. You're ready to join the Patriots. You're done being intimidated and scared. But you know when enough of us get together, and that's already happening, whether I'm here or not, everybody's getting together because they have to. They cannot keep supporting the 50% of people who don't work on the backs of the 50% of the people who do. So, just my thought for a second. Let's say you're overcome with patriotism while you're out shopping at Walmart this weekend, and uncontrollably it just comes out of your mouth, Joe Biden is a douchebag. And all of a sudden you hear other patriots sound off, hell yeah. Be a great way to meet your fellow patriots and find out who you can trust. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have a little business at Walmart I have to take care of. If you like what I'm saying, give me a hell yeah in the comments.